Hail, viewers. Tonight, at long last, I do think I'm going to read yet another chapter of Claymore. Now, viewers, this may come as a surprise to some of you who have not seen my older videos, but when I first started this channel, I primarily talked about the Claymore manga and FromSoft games. I used to talk about a good deal of the symbolism in manga and video games. Eventually, I started to do manga narration, what you may call a sort of review of Claymore. And I did happen to get a fair degree of people who, for whatever reason, were interested in that. I was quite surprised. For many of you, this is going to be a change from my usual content. However, for some of you, you have probably been waiting for this because I have not read manga since I've done a video about since I'd done my last video 4 months ago. So basically, for the most part, I usually stay away from manga. I prefer pulp fiction. I prefer fantasy writing. Much older work that predated comic books. Some people already know this. I used to talk about it a good deal. But basically, I do not think manga writing is very good. I always have strong opinions about it when I read it. Basically, I think the writing in comic books and manga is the most terrible you can find. But I do read it occasionally. On this channel, I created about 20 videos at least, if not more so, about the Claymore manga. I have had a few loyal people who've watched those videos. I have no idea if they have watched any of my other videos, but this was something I used to do on this channel, and I said I would keep doing it until I reached the last chapter of Claymore. Now, I do take a long time because of the nature of these videos. I do not read them straight through. I share my opinions. Now, peradventure, you are interested in what I actually think about Claymore in regard to my overall opinion about it. I did a video. It was one of the very first videos on my channel. And in that video, you can, where basically I wrote a blog, and I read it out, and I basically said I stated basically everything I think the Claymore manga is. In regard to what it represents, in regards to what it symbolizes, in regards to what it meaneth, all of that, I basically reviewed and gave my opinions about it. If you want to see that, go to that old video and watch it. For those of you viewers who did not know I do this, who are sensitive to violence, bloodshed, weird things, like manga, I am warning you, this violence, or rather this particular manga, is very replete with violence, some weird elements that you may think are strange. Also know that I am not trying to do voice acting. I'm basically doing some very amateur narration and just giving my commentary. Some of you viewers may very well be familiar with my religious and cultural videos. However, this is different. This is what I used to do a while back, and in sooth, if it does not really appeal to you, maybe you should not watch it, because Claymore as a manga is a very strange manga. And in sooth, when I get to the chapters where the really weird stuff is going to happen, oh my goodness. I'm going to have a lot to say, for one thing, but also it may get so weird that if you can stomach this, you may not want to deal with anything else that we are going to read in the future here. Claymore as a manga really revolve around the element of bio-horror. Somewhat like Resident Evil as a video game, but a little different with swords. Now, also keep in mind that if you plan to read it, it is very monotonous. In other words, the only fighting you see in it is with big heavy swords and demons that have weird claws, and there's not very much variety in them. Now, basically the whole idea behind this manga is they have Yoma powers, these women who are called Claymores. They go around, they're half human, half monster, half demon. They use a Japanese word that literally means demon. So they are not really being that, they are not really trying to hide the fact that basically this manga is about women who, in order to reach their maximum potential, have to embrace the demon side in them. And to give you a summary without spoiling anything, of course, at this point, we are at the 21st chapter now. I'm just going to give this warning once again because it has been a long time since I've done this. If you are squeamish towards violence, sensitive elements, or anything else, please do not watch this video. Claymore is a very weird manga. Alright? I have so many different types of subscribers. I was surprised in sooth that I even got 112 subscribers, but I have to say, viewers, if you are interested in religious content and the cultural content and not this, I don't know what to tell you. This may be a bit strange. This particular series I'm continuing for the subscribers who became interested in it because I started to read this this manga. And I read it infrequently. I do not read it sort of throughout the week or even months. I read it when I basically can push myself to do it. And I have to push myself to do it. I have to push myself to do it because the writing is so bad. I really have a problem with comic writings. There are people on YouTube who will praise comics and manga, and they will say, oh, this manga was so good, but I read it and I realize the writing is horrible. And when you read it out loud, you realize how bad the writing is. In sooth. Anyhow, viewers, I am going to begin. I gave my warnings. This is not my usual content. Some people may disagree with this, but anyhow, I have so many different types of content on the channel. Know that I'm not a fan of Claymore, but I am a critic, and I do a very fair narration, a very honestly spoken commentary. Alright, now that I'm done explaining myself, let us begin. Alright, let me get ready with a breath. Alright. Clang, clang, Okay, let me not do the sound effects. I used to do the sound effects. It is really stupid when I do the sound effects. Why? Why can't I beat her? Alright, this is the character who we met last time. For those of you who are looking for the earlier chapters, yes, I have done all of those. I've done up to this chapter, so you can find the earlier ones too if you need to catch up. And the quality of these videos is so. It is what it is. Average person reads a manga, so to speak. Although I think no one liketh to really consider themselves average, do they? Anyhow, never mind. Clang, 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 clang. It's scary. Deep inside, she harbors a monster. In time, she will become incredibly strong. I may be able to beat her now, but next time, who knows? Okay, everybody's just looking at this fight. Oh my. Sorry, but I can't die just quite yet. Okay. Oh, she's wondering what she's doing. Because she wants to end this fight. Because apparently the whole, the potential power of this particular Claymore is just too amazing. Okay. Clang. Okay. I knew I said I wasn't going to do the sound effects, but the clang is not too hard to do. And the whoosh is not too hard to do. Bam! I say I would not do them, but I am doing them. Anyhow, never mind that. Teresa! Okay, surprise, because someone's behind her. Wahoo! What? Why would you say that? Is this... never mind. Grr. Clang. Okay. Because, in sooth, this is one of the things I despise about buying comic books or buying manga, or reading comic books. Here's one of the main problems I have with comic books and manga. Most of the writing people's, wow, this manga writer wrote a really good story, and you read it, and it's just clang, clang, ka-whoop, bang, bow, woo! It's just sound effects. You read, it's just sound effects. Sure, there's art, but is the art really that good? Oh wow, she got kicked in the belly, and she's just falling back. I mean, if you wanted to do art, you could even do it better than this, though I suppose there is skill in sort of really, portraying a fight, but it is just so boring. I would rather watch, an anime in sooth, but at the same time, even anime is boring to me. For the most part, even that writing is terrible, because that writing is based upon the anime. Cartoons are based upon the comic books. And so, in sooth, I think the writing is terrible. You may not realize why I have such a problem with the writing in manga, comic books, anime, and the like. It is because basically without Pulp Fiction there would be none of this. Pulp Fiction magazines were basically short. They were basically magazines that you bought. A long time ago, of course I did not live during that time, because these became popular during the 1940s, 50s, 1930s. They were the basis of comic books. All of these comic book writers who would come afterwards would base their stories upon H.P. Lovecraft, Conan the Barbarian, Clark Aston Smith. Okay, Robert E. Howard wrote Conan the Barbarian. Conan is far more interesting than this weird stuff I forget the man's name who really wrote this. But the stuff we read today, it doth not even compare. It is very boring. But anyhow, at this point, even the people who have been watching me since the beginning know my opinions about manga. If there are any people even watching me. It has been 4 months since I've even made a Claymore video. Anyhow, viewers, let me continue. Please forgive me if I made a weird sound with my mouth. I'm speaking too fast. Lord knoweth, I should take another breath. This is how animated I get. I end up talking so much and so fast and with such passion that I need to take a breath or else I will run out of breath. I often do. There was a particular Chinese doctor who basically taught the 6 healing sounds, the idea that you can breathe out 6 different ways, and each particular sound that you make when you breathe out basically in some wise is able to help cleanse particular organs and release stale air in the body. I have no idea if it works or how it worketh, but nonetheless, for whatever reason, it seemeth to be very beneficial to me. And as for myself, I like to use the eth, because the eth is good for me because I have a slight lisp. I have problems saying s. Anyhow, viewers, let me continue. Boom. Okay, I guess that's what sound effect happens, because I have to say the sound effects because there's literally no other script. It's just fight. When you read a fight scene, it's just sound effect, sound effect, sound effect. Is this really good? Can we not at least sort of... I do not know. I guess when you're fighting, you're not really thinking or talking, but at the same time, oh my goodness. You know, and when you're young, which is, you know, which I am still young, but nonetheless, when you are a little boy and you're just smiling and you're just happy to have a comic book, you see the people fighting and it is so exciting to you, but at some point, I think most people grow out of that. They want something more. But anyhow, let me continue to read this. Whoosh. Shank? Shank? Wouldn't clank be a better... Alright, shank. What an interesting sound effect. Whoop. Okay. Wow, she was kind of surprised by her ability to flip at that point. Okay. Here she is trying to attack her again. Gwa! Okay. Who's attacking and who's defending? Okay, Teresa's the one doing the flip. So it's like, Gwa! I don't know who's saying Gwa. It's so chaotic you don't even realize who's really making the noises. Okay, she's surprised by that. Damn! No, damn! Does she say damn? No, it's just the sound effect. Of course they're not talking. Of course it's not really, you know, but damn. Okay. I have no script here. I have no real talk. There's no talking going on, so I have to say the sound effects. Shock. Okay, the fighting's over. What do we have here? Oh, it looks like the little girl's surprised. What is her name? Claire. Yes, Claire. She got you. So, it's better than getting kicked. It's better than getting kicked. Okay. Please, stop this. I don't care what rule she broke. Ganging up on her is... Let me do this alone. Don't be a fool. Okay, she's surprised. If we don't help, it's your head that will fall. You should know that by now. We didn't come to test our abilities. We're here to punish a traitor. And to do that, we have to choose the most efficient way. We'll back you up. So think only about the best way to defeat Teresa. Okay. More sound effects. I'm not even going to... Yeah, whenever you see beaky beaky, it's just basically the veins popping, the blood vessel popping. I have no idea who came up with that sound, with that particular... with writing that out. Do veins really sound like that? Beaky beaky. I do not understand it. Anyhow, Claire's surprised. Exclamation marks. Exclamation points, alright? What the... I just felt a chill. Alright then. We'll bring her down. We won't forgive a traitor who broke the rules and brought shame on the organization. Okay, Teresa's just looking at them. I'm sorry, Teresa. I want to face you one-on-one. But this is your own fault. Okay, more vein-popping noises. Boom! Apparently with this so-called Yoki power, which literally translates to demon power, you know, and I've talked about the implications of it all. Of basically how Yoki demon power is the only type of power that is worth anything in this manga. There really is no counterbalance. So the idea is who can be the best demon. Half demon, half-Yoma, Claymore, what have thee. Alright. Anyhow, everybody's surprised. They're like, oh goodness, this is so powerful. You know, the force is basically pushing us back. It's creating wind. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. We have more sound effects. That I am not going to say. We just have a bunch of vein popping. Everybody's turning into sort of using their Yoki power, their demon power. Let's do it. Fush. She's surprised. Gushing. More. Everybody's running at her. Clashing. Kushing. Clang clang. Whatnot. Fush. Okay. What's her name? The really short-haired chick is flipping. I guess it's coming from above. Kang. I guess that's the sound of the swords or something of that sort. Shang? What happened to Clang? Why do we have to go from Kang to Shang? Shush. Gone. God. What are we going into baby noises? What? Never mind. I'm not even gonna say these. Who come up with these sound effects? Oh my goodness. Anyhow, after we're done reading off the gibberish sound effects. Yeah. Okay. Teresa flips over her. Jumps behind her. Okay, she's surprised but like, Okay, Kushang. Alright. Okay. She's making a noise of frustration. Whatever that sound effect is. Dagon. Geeky. Who, why are there so many varieties? Goodness, geeky. Teresa! Okay, she's about to get beheaded. But she's smarter than that. Dagon! Whatever type of sound effect that is. Okay, she flips. And she lands. Okay. Shang? Oh my goodness. It's just sound effect after sound effect. Why that? Okay, I guess she got her, and I forget the name of that one. One of them, I think one of these people's names was what? Galatea or something? Maybe not. No, Alina. Okay, whatever her name is. More clashing, more sound effects. Everybody's looking at it and fighting. And Alina, say something. Don't worry about me. Go. Okay, but I told you, think only about the best way to defeat Teresa. Forget me. Use all your strength to take her head. I will. Okay, she's going to attack her. Damn it. Who would have thought? I was sure the four of us could take her. I misjudged her again. Okay. Apparently bam. That's the sound effect. And yet, she still hasn't released her Yoma power. Reading manga out is probably one of the worst things, and I think if anything needeth to prove how bad, and not all manga is like this. I think fight manga is the worst type of manga. I'm much more like slice of life. I'm much more like romance. I'm much more like those, because those are more substantial to me. When you read a fight manga, eventually the fights, as you read the manga, the fights become more and more intense. And so as you read each issue of the manga, eventually you're just left with a bunch of sound effects and fight scenes. And they seem, sure, they're interesting to look at, but when you really read it, it doth not read so well. Many of the sound effects are sounds that make absolutely no sense. I mean, personally, I never liked sound effects in the written medium like this. I really like manga that has less sound effects. This is terrible. I mean, but basically, in some particular chapters there is more talking, and in others there is less. But personally, I mean, I just think that honestly, how would I say it? Oh goodness, I don't know. Fight manga is not so good in my opinion. And when I have to review something simply based upon writing quality, which I will say, in regard to art, there is not very much of a problem with the art. The art is basically really good, I suppose. I've already made my opinions known about the art. I think the design of the Claymores is somewhat stupid looking. It's not really a full set of armor. It doth not make sense. If they're not really going to wear armor, or that much armor, because they do not need much armor, apparently, according to the lore, so to speak, which a person really was very determined to explain this to me. Why are they wearing shoulder pads? And I know there are certain manga where people do not wear very much armor. Even Conan the Barbarian. Conan did not wear very much armor, but I have to say there's no point for you to have these pauldrons. Just wear some leather armor or something, or basically nothing at all. You don't need it anyway. So what is the point of these big shoulder pads? Like, I mean, you don't have armor on the body, you don't have armor on the legs, just boots, shoulder pads, gauntlets that do not even cover your hands. Alright, apparently, you know, if you read further in, which I do believe we've already read further enough in to know that basically when they get their arm cut off, they can heal it back. They can do things like that. But still, if that is the case, why do you have anything on? I mean, after all, if you do not care about having your arm cut off, why are you having big pauldrons to sort of weigh your shoulders down and big gauntlets to weigh your arms down? I mean, if you just want speed, you can just have speed. You can fight with basically nothing on. That is why I think, you know, I basically stated my opinions about this. I do not like the whole idea that they're sort of knight-like. I think a more savage idea would have been better to be implemented. In other words, if they had furs on them, like Conan the Barbarian, if this was more primal, savage, maybe they could have axes and swords and, you know, just a more primal aesthetic overall. Because, I mean, after all, they're becoming like demons. Their eyes become cat-like and beast-like. All right, why don't you just go for and just really capitalize upon that element? But instead, you put this weird sanitized sort of weird white outfit on them. They have these little gauntlets, and everyone looks really professional, and everyone looks like, you know, they're dressed in the same uniform, like the Abyss Watchers from Dark Souls, except it's the Claymores from the manga Claymore, and it's just, everyone is just a carbon copy of everyone else. And I have to say, and I've said this many times, because this is a whole video about my commentary and what I think about the manga, I think there's too much repetition in Claymore. There's too much repetition. Too much repetition. Far too much repetition. In regard to aesthetic, in regard to writing, in regard to what the people do, in regard to how the manga progresses. It is repetitive from start to finish. It becometh a bit more interesting in the end, but at that point it becometh so disgusting and things get so weird that you just want to read as fast as you can to get the manga over with. You just want to read as fast as you can to finish it. And that is how I felt. I felt, wow, this is so repetitive. I just want to get this over with. The manga gets so weird at the end. You really are just taken aback. And at that point, you just want to finish it. Let me be honest. It is like one of those video games that go on for far too long. And you're just playing it. And at some point you say, oh my God. I've played this game for far too long. It's boring as hell. What the hell is going on? I can't even be bothered with this now. I just want to finish this game and never pick it up and play it again. That was how I felt with Baldur's Gate 3. That may be an unpopular opinion, but that was how I felt with Baldur's Gate 3. I thought, wow, I finally get to the city and the game is going to end in the city? No. Let me finish this. This is stupid. But anyhow, never mind that. That was disappointing in a whole nother way. But as for this, I really did not expect much from Claymore when I watched the anime and read the manga. So, what can I say? Alright, Claymore is unique. Well, the Claymore is not really that unique. It is unique in a way, but do these look at these three Claymores? They all look the same. They're fighting each other. They're all in the same uniform. No one has any type of individuality except the hair. Everyone has the same body shape for the most part. Everyone is carrying the same type of sword. Everyone is a carbon copy. Everyone is a carbon copy. Everyone is. Alright? And that is the problem I have with Claymore. Too much of the same. Too much of the same atmosphere. And it was just annoying to me. Anyhow, viewers, this is the 21st chapter of Claymore. At long last, it has been, it has been 4 months since I've created a Claymore video. And finally I've done it. So I would like to say, may you be blessed and farewell, viewers.